everybody, welcome to my kitchen. My name is Madeline Eyer, and this evening I'm going to show you how to make our absolute favorite breakfast, snack, anytime kind of food. It's a raw granola, and we're going to start off by combining the moist ingredients for this granola. This is a date paste, which I've made right here in my high-speed blender using some pitted dates. And a word about pitted dates: check them and make sure they're truly pitted. They're done by machine, and oftentimes some pits will remain in there and they will jam your blade. So don't let that happen to you. Alright, so I have a cup of freshly made date paste in here, and I'm going to add some maple syrup, 1/3 of a cup. I'm using good, organic, locally grown, locally farmed maple. And then I'm going to add a medium-sized, again, organic apple, which I have chopped here, and put also into my high-speed blender. Now, I find that this method works so much better than trying to put all of those ingredients into my food processor. It just doesn't do the job for me. So it's only one more thing I'm going to add there, and that is some vanilla, 2 teaspoons, a nice pure vanilla extract. Alright, so we're going to put our lid on top here, and this particular blender has a tamper attachment, which I'm going to use. Perfect. Now, the reason I like to do it this way is I've tried it the other way, where I've put the apples especially into the food processor, and they just don't seem to chop up well enough, which can be a problem when you want to dehydrate this. You want to make sure everything is thoroughly dehydrated. So if you have big chunks of apple in there, it doesn't work out as well. So also for food safety, because it does keep a while. That is, if you don't eat it all before the expiration date, which lasts a couple of months in the fridge or freezer, but we've not had ours last nearly that long. Anyway, as you can see, this mixture here, I'm going to pour it here and give you an idea of the consistency here. It's thick with a slight pouring consistency. So I'm just going to pour that into a bowl and set it aside. Next thing we're going to do is take all of our dry ingredients and put them in our food processor. And you don't need a fancy food processor. Any food processor will do. This is a pretty good high-speed one. I've got 2 cups of pecans, and at this point I think it would be a good idea to let you know that all of my nuts and seeds have been soaked overnight. The larger nuts and seeds have been soaked overnight. The pecans and the almonds here, that does require overnight, and you find you can get into a rhythm where you put your stuff, you get it soaking overnight, go to bed, and wake up in the morning, it's all ready to rinse off and use. And what that does is it releases the enzyme inhibitor, makes them much more digestible. So I've got two cups of pecans that have been soaked, and I'm just going to spread them around evenly as possible here. Okay. Then got 1.5 cups of almonds, same thing, and they kind of plump up a little. I don't know if you can tell from the photograph, but when they've been soaked, they do absorb moisture, so make sure you're using some good quality filtered water on that too. You don't want to just use tap water. All right. Next thing we're going to put here are some pumpkin seeds. And I've got here 2/3 of a cup of pumpkin seeds. And these smaller seeds here only need to soak for 2 to 4 hours. So my little groove that I get in is I put the pecans and the almonds in some water to soak before I go to bed. And then in the morning I rinse and drain those. And then I take some bowls and I soak my smaller seeds for 2 to 4 hours, and by lunchtime I'm ready to make another batch of granola. So here we have 1/3 of a cup of sunflower seeds. Sprinkle those around. A cup of raisins, you guessed it, organic. Costco has these at a very good price if you have a Costco near you. I also recommend you buy some of these nuts and seeds and other ingredients if you have a local food co-op or in the bulk section of your market. They tend to sell a lot of them, so you're getting a fresher supply and it's more economical. Now I'm going to put some sea salt in here, and I'm using a pink Himalayan sea salt. I don't know if you can get a shot of that there. It's got a little bit of a pink hue to it, and it is highly mineralized. It's raw. It's not table salt. Do not recommend using table salt, which is chemicals. This is just so much healthier for you. So, 1.5 teaspoons. This or the Celtic gray salt is also a good quality salt. And then we have 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. And that's it. So we're just going to put the lid on our food processor here and pulse it a few times. All right, pulse we go. Beautiful. Now you see that's got that nice, chunky, sort of not turn to soup kind of look. So I'm just going to carefully reach in here and get that blade out. These things are very sharp, so do be careful. Take my spatula and scoop that up. Now we're just going to blend it well. Make sure it's nice and moist. Got it now. Okay, so that seems to be well mixed. Now I have my dehydrator tray here, and I've lined it with what's called a Teflex sheet. You can also use waxed paper. These are great because they're reusable, washable, so very economical and they work really well. The dehydrator sheet itself has this plastic screen, and you never want to put gloppy wet ingredients directly on that because they will fall through. It will make quite a mess. Trust me. Now, scoop our granola mixture onto the dehydrator tray and just chunk it on there. You don't want to make it too thick because it'll add time to the dehydrating time, and trust me, when your house starts smelling when the smell of this starts wafting through the air, you're going to want to eat it as quickly as possible. So I do recommend that you spread it on the thinner side. You leave some spaces in between. And we're going to dehydrate this at 110 degrees. And the reason we do that is because it's a raw granola. And there is some controversy over what constitutes raw. Some people say 116. I've heard 120, I've heard 110. The numbers seem to vary. 110 does the job nicely. So we are going to put this in the dehydrator at 110 degrees. And after about 6 hours, or in this case, before I go to bed, I am going to take this tray out, and the top will be hard. Hard enough that I can take a second dehydrator tray that does not have a Teflon sheet on it, put it on top, grab the two and flip it over, and then peel back this Teflon sheet so that the top is now the bottom on here, and the Teflon is in the sink ready to be washed, and this will allow the granola to dehydrate much more quickly when it has good airflow going all around it. So there you have it. Just to give you an idea, this is what the finished product looks like. And you have to break it up, in a sheet, so you can make it as small or as large as you like. And just enjoy it. You can have some almond milk on there and fruit, or just eat it as a snack or for breakfast or any time. So good. Enjoy.